Contact target 6 o'clock, 132.
Hey guys, Spud here, as always, and to start off the new year on a high note, I'm doing my very first module giveaway in the form of a DCS World Screenshot competition. So this is your chance to get your hands on the DCS F-16C Block 50 Viper absolutely free if you're the winner of the competition. To submit your entry into the competition, all you need to do is join my Discord server. There is a link in the description, as well as a link pinned in the comments below, and then head down to the DCS Screenshot Competition category and add your submission. With your submission, please write a short description of your screenshot. Is it multiplayer? Is it single player? How did you get the screenshot? Is that your friend you took it of in multiplayer? What's happening in the screenshot? And why is this screenshot your favorite, or why is it meaningful to you? The screenshots can be of any module in any time period on any map. It can be a screenshot that you really love that you've held on to all the way back to DCS 1.5 before the Caucasus update, or it can be something you took yesterday because you thought you saw a really cool scene you wanted to capture. The entries will be judged by myself and a number of my longest time channel supporters, and we will decide who the winner's screenshot will be, and the screenshot and description will be presented in a subsequent video, along with a bunch of runner-ups to that number one screenshot. So, your screenshots will be judged on composition, subject matter. Is it a cool screenshot? Is it a very beautiful screenshot? Is it a super cool action screenshot? As well as your description comes into it as well. Is there something special about this screenshot? Why is it meaningful to you? All these kinds of things will all come into play, and we'll look at it very holistically to choose a winner. The competition will run from the time this video is uploaded to midnight on January 12th, 2020. You'll be contacted on Discord so that you can claim your prize if you're the lucky winner. And while you're there on my Discord, I am currently collecting questions for an aviation history Q&A video. So you can add your question into the Av History Questions video chat category. Please feel free to ask about any era or any subtopic about aviation history, and I will hope to answer as many questions as possible to the best of my ability on yet another video. So if we can get some good questions going, we can potentially turn this into a very cool series. Alrighty guys, so because we're all slaves to Google and Alphabet Incorporated, we're going to have to make this video longer than 10 minutes in order to satisfy the requirements of the YouTube algorithm. So I figured we'd take a look at some cool old screenshots that I went through my old screenshot folder with and dug some cool ones out. So I think this screenshot here is a AV-8B climbing out of Bandari Jask Airport. I think I was playing around a little bit trying to build a mission. This screenshot is about the same thing. Some Harriers taking off from Bandari Jask. I believe that, yeah, this is a multiplayer mission, as we can tell from that little message box icon in the top left. And I believe this was a multiplayer mission with some Harriers that we did a while ago that involved trying to use Harriers as facts. That didn't work too well. The Harrier's a little bit too squirrely, not enough gas for that mission, and didn't go so well. And that's just a really, really pretty screenshot. That was done on a very, very long range strike out to hit a Silkworm battery up on the very very northwest edge of the Iranian coastline as it extends out from the Persian Gulf map. This is a super fun mission. It included a lot of air-to-air refueling, and I definitely had to help out one of our wingmen. He got hit by a manpad, I think, or some sort of a SAM, and took some shrapnel damage, so had to help him get back to a air base to divert to. And this is from the same mission, and I always think it's just very, very cool to watch other players in multiplayer work together as a group to fly a mission, hit a tanker, fly home from said mission, and potentially hit that tanker again. It's always very, very cool to see the netcode of DCS working well, the players working together to make air-to-air refueling happen. And it doesn't always happen perfectly, but in the screenshots it always looks pretty nice. This screenshot here was from a Iranian-based mission, so very cool kind of juxtaposition that we can see there with some F-14s on the runway getting ready to take off with SA-2s in the background. I mean, that's pretty kind of a cool juxtaposition and imagery there. And it was a large Iranian-based strike of centered around F-14s, dropping some bombs, escorted by F-5s and some Mirage 2000s standing in for Mirage F-1s. And it was a lot of fun, and it was a great mission. There were some MiG-29s in there as well. The Iran-focused missions and based missions are always very cool because it just sees a lot of very interesting aircraft that flying together on the same side that you don't see a lot of in DCS worlds. So that can make some pretty cool screenshots and make for some pretty cool views and things. So it was actually one of the kind of few multiplayer missions that I flew with an actual human Rio in the backseat. Because I'm doing video most of the time when I'm playing in multiplayer, I like to have Jester in the backseat, so that way I just have complete and total control over the aircraft so that I know exactly what's coming, what's going to happen, and therefore try to make the video as entertaining and as great for you guys to watch as possible. So there's a picture back on the ramp. We can see a Mirage 2000 standing in for an F1 back there. Kind of cool. I thought that was a very cool and interesting video. Nobody got shot down in that mission, which was interesting because we were flying against AIM-120 armed F-18s and F-16s coming out of the UAE and Kuwait. This is a Bandar Abbas strike mission based on the Raven 1 book, and it was kind of a cool shot that I got zoomed in looking through an NVG at my wingman as we were flying on back to the carrier. And this will be a cool mission to fly in the Raven 1 based campaign that Baltic Dragon is making currently, which I have some voice work in. So that'll be pretty cool for sure. And let's see what the next one has for us. Another Iran-focused mission here. This was actually the screenshot that I used for the thumbnail of the video. I thought it was pretty cool because I kind of set up a kind of a scene here with, this is supposed to be a pre-revolution mission, so that's why we got Imperial Iranian Air Force and Army aviation stickers and roundels on those airplanes. So kind of cool. Like I said, the history of Iran is incredibly interesting to me, and it's very fun to fly those missions because you get such a wide range of strange airplanes working together. And, you know, I'm not totally sure where this mission came from. I believe it's a U.S. Navy F-14 based mission because we've got a lantern pod going on down there. I think maybe I was just playing around one day and said, oh, that's a pretty cool scene. Let's take a picture of that. I really like the different colors in it and things, and the juxtaposition of the cockpit lights with the sunset out in the background. It's always very, very cool to just play around and take screenshots in DCS, really. Next up here is just a practice mission. I was flying against the AI in a dogfight, and this is when I realized that DCS World actually tracks bullets from the minute they are fired, or the second they're fired from your gun, until they impact the ground. I was wondering what those splashes were down there in the water, and after the dogfight, and I went into a program to take a look at what was going on, and actually saw that there were bullets still flying through the air throughout the dogfight and hitting the ground almost 5 minutes later. And then there is a bunch of aircraft lined up on the ramp at Nellis Air Force Base. This was from the very first red flag mission that we flew, and I took that screenshot before everyone taxied out, and I thought that was a pretty darn cool screenshot to grab of everyone lined up there in the hot arming pits. It was pretty darn cool. and another one of those screenshots that I grabbed. It was kind of cool to have a bunch of different airplanes all lined up and starting up together. This was prior to the F-16 release, of course. So we've got some Ukrainian Su-27s, some Navy and Marine Corps F-18 Hornets, some U.S. Navy Tomcats, and some Marine Corps Aviate-B Harriers participating as well. It was a very fun, very cool mission for sure. And here I am was trying to figure out the Kuznetsov aircraft carrier, trying to do maybe a Russia-focused mission or based mission, and using the Su-33 because it is very cool and very novel little jet, or actually rather large, huge, gigantic jet. What am I talking about here? But unfortunately, with the current Kuznetsov model as it stands right now, it is very, very difficult to use because it lacks the holdback blocks for the wheels of the jet for when you are trying to take off from the bow or from a station farther back on the carrier. And so it really, really limits your effective payload because of that, because you're relying on the strength of the wheel brakes. And so that just doesn't really condone it to working well in multiplayer yet, but hopefully, as Matt Wagner teased not too long ago, the upgraded and revamped Kuznetsov model will be ready to go. And for the Marianas map, that'll be incredibly, incredibly important because the Liaoning, the Chinese aircraft carrier, is a Kuznetsov class aircraft carrier that was bought by the Chinese and for a museum ship and a casino that they then, of course, turned into a live warship, which probably surprised no one. But that'll be really cool to have some J-15s flying off the deck around the Marianas map and could work really, really well for that map. And so I think that's a very important addition that's coming. And I think this one, I was actually working with one of my patrons to help them get up to speed, as well as in terms of getting the targeting pod on the F-18 to work correctly. Of course, it's a bit hard to get it to work perfectly because we lack the HUD instrumentation. But using the SA page in conjunction with the targeting pod helps you steer around the pod pretty well, actually, and was actually a really nice and very cool surprise to have in there. And the patron ended up doing really well. This is actually a multiplayer screenshot, if you believe it or not. It zoomed in a little bit. I didn't really have the original, and it's not photoshopped. It's just cropped a little bit. And this is a participant of one of my red flag missions taking off in the early morning at Nellis Air Force Base at red flag mission. So it was a very cool shot. I was kind of just waiting in line, dinking around, and took some cool screenshots. And this is another red flag campaign mission. This time I was flying a Mirage 2000. First time I flew the Mirage in a long time, and I kind of did some modding of the controls to get NVG goggle gain to work at that time. And got it working well and got the NVGs working well, and we had some fun flying the Mirage at night, which was an interesting experience because that jet is really pretty much a daytime fighter and light attack daytime aircraft. Next here we've got the F-14 that got totally shot up by an air-to-air missile, just blown to shit. And I brought it back and landed it at Nellis without a Rio. So Jester was gone, the canopy was gone, the hydraulics went out right as I touched down, so I rolled off the end of the runway, and it was quite the ordeal. The radar was gone, the left engine was flaming out and sputtering the entire time, so that was an interesting one. And this screenshot is from the day the F-16 released, actually. I was playing around trying to come up with some sort of content to throw together, and I decided to try making some cool thumbnails and got this very, very cool screenshot. It was actually my desktop screensaver for quite a long time, and I thought it's probably one of the best shots I have of the F-16, and I really like it. So there we go, guys. That's kind of it. I hope you guys liked the video, and please enjoy coming up with your screenshot submissions for the screenshot competition, and good luck to everyone, and hopefully you guys can make it into winning that top spot and getting yourself a free F-16C Block 50 Viper module for DCS World. So thanks a lot, guys, and especially big thanks to my patrons because you guys and your support definitely makes things like this possible. So thanks a lot, guys.